fucking trance.
There's
Excuse
no
my
passion.
French. They just completely.
Yeah, the same happens in Germany too.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's why I'm here, and I remember I talked about this with Jared that I was missing Peru because of that. That was one of the reasons,
Yeah.
and a very strong one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't flow with you. What you're about.
Yeah, there's no. I can't feel like real passion because everything is fine. You don't have to think about danger or something bad happening. Like you have a stable future.
Yeah.
And in Peru, you don't know nothing about
It's like, just get on the bus.
Yeah.
On the topic of me channeling your angel, do you mind if we talk about that?
Mhm.
That's okay. Because what I want a commercial plug from you.
Okay.
Because I don't have many guys that speak English
Okay.
that are open to communicate with that sort of thing.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
And any topics you especially want to talk about that's really important to you or no?
Well, music somehow.
Okay, that's all
Because
right.
it's very linked to the visions, and it's a kind of bridge
Yeah,
for me.
it is a bridge.
Mhm.
It totally is a bridge.
Mm.
Okay, well that's where I kind of come from. I'm a speech and language pathologist for 40 years. Also an audiometrist, so I do hearing testing.
Okay.
Also, I'm what's called a neurotherapist. I had all the neuro training with this new stuff.
Okay.
And a hypnotist. So
Okay.
language, thoughts,
Uh-huh.
people can like, okay. And then hearing is like, we don't know, we've got ears, we don't know. But hearing's the zone to get in there,
Uh-huh.
so.
It's already recording.
We're recording, okay, I'll clap.
It's already recording.
May I clap? Okay. And which camera I start and end with? iPad? Your camera, the real deal? Okay, 1, 2. Welcome to the show. This is the Sam Bell Show, and today we have a guest, Rainier. Am I saying it correctly?
Yeah, it's Rainer in German. Rainer.
Wasn't even close. Rainer.
Yeah.
Rainer. And he is a Peruvian German. Is that correct?
Yeah, or German Peruvian.
German,
Yeah.
Peruvian. We're in Peru, so it's Peruvian.
Yeah, that's true.
Germany is German, Peruvian. And your mother is from Stuttgart.
Yeah.
And your father is from Lima.
Yeah.
So, now, are you a vegetarian or do you eat meat?
I'm a vegetarian. I was a vegan, and prior to that, I was eating meat.
I feel sinful now. So, now, the reason this gentleman is here at the moment is the co-partner in this Project Sam Bell Show, who's over there. Say hi, bro.
Hi, bro.
He's in this rock and roll band, which stolen away a year ago, went to Germany. And it's called Pony Asteroid. It's my favorite group, Pony Asteroid. Pony Asteroid. And how did Pony Asteroid come about?
The name was I remember I was flying in between Germany and Peru, and it was the idea came when I was flying over the ocean. I was searching for a name, but it was for a metal band. So I was totally sure they are not gonna like the name. So I had this name like spinning the whole time through my mind, and after about 2 years we started a new project with other guys, with my bro, and I just had this name still in my mind, so I proposed it and they liked it. Yeah, that's the simple explanation. Yeah.
So his normal day job is he's the producer and composer and lead singer
Yes.
for Pony Asteroid.
Yes.
Which is okay. I mean, that's cool. I don't think I've ever listened to any of your music. Jared's giving me a couple samples I've listened to, but I'm very interested in angels and discarnates and interdimensionals. And you do have some experience with that, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes. It started.
Don't tease me, boy.
Yeah. It was still the. I don't know if I was 4 or 5 years old, but it's. I can remember it was the first time I saw something related to angels. It was like a very big table and lots of people eating, but it was not like people here on earth.
Mm-hmm.
They were shining a lot. They were wearing white clothes, and the energy was very pure. I can remember it was a very healing kind of energy.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, my mother and my father they were going to church,
Mm-hmm.
and I was thinking that everyone, when they were talking about angels, etc., I thought they were seeing it on a daily basis. So it was, for me, it was like that's.
It was surprising to find out they don't.
Yeah, after some years. I think it was when I was 7 or 8 years old. I heard some conversations after church, and it was at that time it was very disappointed for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were talking about things that were not connected to that.
Yeah.
And then I asked some people, and they told me no, that's just like stories in the Bible.
Yeah.
So it broke all the image I had about what was happening every Sunday.
Yeah. From your direct experience.
Yeah.
From your actual knowledge.
Yeah.
That
Exactly.
from you experienced that.
Yeah.
It's often really unfortunate that children will have this gift, and then when they find out that other people aren't experiencing it, they kind of shut it down.
Yes. Yes. That's something that happened to me when I was in kindergarten and first years of school, because I noticed that it was not a good idea to talk about that. Because yeah. Yeah, so I shut it down until. Is it okay to talk about everything here? Like, okay.
Absolutely, bro.
Okay.
But
when
keep it in your pants.
Okay. Yeah.
You didn't tell me about this guy. I see angels. Wow! On the asteroid. Now I got it.
Yeah, I was like 15 years old or 14, and it was, for me, it was like a chance to talk about these topics again,
Yes.
but it was something cool now, because everyone was into weed, etc.
Yeah.
So they thought I was perceiving the things because of I was smoking.
Hallucinogenic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, now I can talk about these things again, and
Yeah.
nobody's gonna. Yeah.
Far out.
Yeah.
Did you see the elephant? No.
What did you smoke?
Wow, that's for people that haven't had the experience, it's unbelievable. And even after you have the experience and you go to someone who loves you and trusts you and you tell them, I just saw an angel, they're like, well, when I first interacted with angels, I told my mom and she said, Sammy, you need medication. Don't
Okay.
tell anybody, you're going to lose your medical license. And I'm like, no, Mom, I'm not going to lie about this. She goes, don't tell anybody. You need medication.
Mhm.
So, it wasn't until I was on national TV that they said, oh, Sammy Channel's angels. I'm like, what the hell? You see it on TV, you believe it. But your own person, flesh and blood child's telling you, you think he's full of hooey. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
That's so weird. Now, you mentioned that they were luminescent or they had light, they were shiny.
Yeah. I can remember it was like silvery gold kind of shine. Like it was more white and silvery, like white in the inner core, then silver like here, and more gold a little bit outside of it. And this was the first time I saw this, and then it just kept going. Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's probably why you're so creative, bro. You know,
That's
seriously.
what I usually, or how like songs happen. I'm not doing anything. I'm just like letting them write the songs. It's and then
I'm a conscious channel. I know what you're describing. I wish I could do that, but no, I can't take credit for it.
and when this happens, then the songs are really alive. When I try to write them, they're not good.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. One of the big aspects of discarnate entities who are here to help us advance consciously, and for angels, is they're looking for people who can communicate and can share the message without scaring the hell out of people.
Yeah.
So crop circles, well, we can do crop circles all day long. People like that. And then individuals like yourself that are talented in a musical way, you're sending information from your heart out your vocal mechanism through your instrument, and you're creating concepts or thought forms with the airwaves in the listeners' minds. So it's like a auditory crop circle. And what you're saying is words that people understand, except when it's matched up with the true emotions, because they're actually the emotions you have in your heart, and the sounds, it's receptive language, that which goes in.
Yeah.
And in conclusion on that, we have two kinds of language. We have expressive language and receptive language. What would talking be, expressive or receptive?
I think it's like
Expressive.
It's expressive on the first time. Yeah, on the first. Yeah.
What would writing be, expressive or receptive?
Expressive too.
Yeah. What would reading be, receptive?
Receptive. Yeah.
What's easier to do, read a book or write a book? You see the discrepancy there.
Yeah.
That's where the receptive area, the area that you stimulate people with, crosses that consciousness barrier and helps people elevate in that receptive skills. So you're the type of person that Pleiadians, people from Orion's belt, extra dimensionals, and extraterrestrials, they're going to come to you because they can see that there's a guy that we can communicate with who can share the message to the Earth Pilgrims in German and in Spanish and in English. So later he's going to play a song. It's not hard rock, is it? It's not hard rock.
No, it's more it's a ballad.
It's a ballad,
Yeah.
and it's about angels,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. Now back to the garment that the angels were wearing. Was that like a robe, or was it?
Yeah, more like a robe. Yeah, yeah. It was very luminous, so
Yeah.
it was not that easy to distinguish. But yeah.
Yeah. You could see the outline.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and there was a lot of food on the table, and they were good beings. I can distinguish between like entities that have a good vibration and those who don't have.
I see where the term asteroid pony fits in now.
Yeah,
I can see where it fits in now.
It's somehow I like it a lot because of the aesthetic of the name, for the phonetics too, but it has this kind of balance between masculine and feminine. And for me, like, usually when you talk to people about spiritual world, about what is happening there, they think it's all happiness and it's all positive things, and it's not. It's like a jungle, so there's a lot going on, and the name contains like both sides, which I think it's clever to know about both sides, especially here in on this earth. So the songs do have this message, but they are not. They have somehow very like codes that young people will accept, and it's not the message. The message is not like very direct. It's more like you listen to or read the lyrics,
Mhm.
and the idea is to have the spiritual message coded somehow. Because people, when you're on a festival, there are like a lot of people drinking a lot of alcohol, and somehow you have to check how the message can enter that kind of mind.
Yes.
So yeah.
Maybe some different vocabulary to touch on that topic. If you go outside and look at the stars and the moon, you say, well, how far that is. It's a great distance that we can actually perceive. However, the distance between the subatomic particles, they're so tiny, these little particles, the distance relatively, they are further apart than the stars and planets.
Okay.
So that's inner space. Inner space is far, far greater than outer space. So when you are performing, sending out your message that's coming from your heart up through your cortex and through your vocal mechanism and through your fingers, you're actually infusing the inner space of their cells. They're not necessarily going, yeah, listening to the concepts and the thought forms you're sharing, but you're actually communicating directly with the cells of their body. I'm trained as a cell memory therapist, and so what happens is people really can't put a finger on it, but they like it.
Okay.
They like it. Just a comment about Asteroid Pony. I'm pretty ignorant about it, except for the things that Jared has shown me. And back in the late 60s, maybe early 70s, early 70s, I went to go see a group called Jethro Tull.
Oh, I know, yeah.
And the group that was going to be just before Jethro Tull was a group nobody knew. And it was their first U.S. Concert, and it's a group called Led Zeppelin. So we're all sitting at Fillmore West, and Bill Graham comes out on stage and he introduces this group called Led Zeppelin. Well, he never would come out and introduce the first group. He would come out and introduce, Jethro Tull. So we're all like, oh, cool, Led Zeppelin. Oh, that's a cool name, blimp, right? Oh, that's so cool. Well, these guys came out on stage and they had just a bad attitude. They had pants like yours and the black and kind of like, and they just blew everybody away. Just blew everybody away. And I'm bringing that up because when I see you and Jared up on the stage doing your thing, cranking on it, I'm like, yeah, that's like Led Zeppelin. It's like Led Zeppelin. So you're going to go a long way. Pony Asteroid's going to go a long way because you have energies that are celestial energies coming through. It doesn't mean you're saintly or that you look like a saint, but the messages you're bringing through are for all humanity. All humanity. On a different topic, Germany, South America. That's a unique blend. It's a unique blend. The German, for the people that have visited Berlin, Germans are very different than other nationalities. And so are Peruvians. They're very, very different. So we have a gentleman here who is a combination of male and female, which is an awesome balance. Is there anything you want to comment about Peruvian females? He's on the spot now.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they are. Be careful now.
Contain yourself.
Yeah, you can send emails to him on his email address.
What I have understood, like over the last years, it's like the fruit growing, for example, on the mountains or in the jungle. When you buy fruit in Germany, they don't taste good. Like they taste like they have no content.
Yeah.
And when I go, for example, to the jungle, sometimes we have had like 9 shows over the last 2 months in the jungle, and you eat the fruit and it's like, wow, it's connected to earth without chemicals, and that's what I'm feeling when I'm in those places, like in the jungle or the mountains.
Yeah.
Like it's pure and it has a lot of content.
Yeah.
For me, there's no kind of division between women or people and like fruits, vegetables, etc. So that's one thing I realized over the last years. Then there's a lot of passion. We talked about this because of poverty and uncertainty. They don't know what's going to happen the next day. In Germany, you're gonna
Yeah.
next day.
What time's the train arrive? 8:01.
Yeah, and if it's arriving
Sure,
8:01, yeah. If it's arriving 8:02, and it's
Oh no!
yeah.
What's the German swear word?
Scheiße.
Scheiße.
Shit. Yeah.
Ah! You're pretty articulate. Yeah, well, I'm born and raised in San Jose, California, which is now the heart of Silicon Valley.
Mm.
So you can find a really nice fixer-upper for $1 million, maybe. Maybe. You want a decent place, you're looking at $1.5 million, $2 million for a decent place.
Okay.
Not a nice place,
Yeah, decent. Yeah.
but a decent place.
Yeah.
So here in Peru, there are people that they don't have much.
Mm.
I mean, it's kind of beyond comprehension if you've never experienced people living out in the middle of nowhere. It's like electricity, no.
Yeah. Water, no.
Water, no. And there's two things that happen. One is you learn what you're exposed to. So when you grow up in Silicon Valley, if you drive down the street, everyone is going to be walking with a cell phone. Every single person. They're going to be communicating with somebody. And then when they're in the classroom, they're going to be interacting with the internet, with Wi-Fi. When they get home, it's the same thing, including the television.
Mm.
And so the human brain, instead of growing up with organic frequencies, organic sounds, organic, electrical activity, going to bed at night, sleeping in the dark, waking up at sunrise, is completely, it's available here, but it's not in Silicon Valley. And what happens is when you grow up and, now you're 9 or 10 and you just live with the cell phone and the internet, you lose the organic sensibilities, I would say. So in the United States, in Silicon Valley, they'll be focusing on the traffic, the cars, the price of gas, homelessness, trying to get a decent meal someplace, no matter what the price is, just trying to get like a ripe peach or a ripe orange, not something that was picked someplace else and shipped green. Whereas here in Peru, well, I can go right to the corner right now and there are going to be some ripe fruit right there on the fruit cart. And some fresh bread and non-GMO foods. And I think the result is that the people of Peru, they have to struggle more, but they're more loving. I know that's probably a simple thing to say, but I feel they're more loving.
Yeah. I think you have to care about your wallet, for example. That's why every time I go to, like the first week I'm in Germany, when I hear someone running, the first thing I do is this.
Yeah.
Like putting my hands in my pockets because that's the reaction I have to have here in Peru.
Yeah.
But on the other side, when you go out in Germany, you have to take care about your emotional side.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people that are gonna try to take it because there's not that much left here. So I'm always telling this to people here in Peru. Here you have to care about your wallet. You have to care about other things over there. And I think that's one of the main reasons. Maybe I think it's the sun, the lack of sun there, because during winter you have very strong depressions. And I didn't feel it until the first time I was in Europe for 5 years without coming to warm places. Winter was very hard. I think because of this lack of sun. Even people from Colombia, I have a good friend of mine there, he's a very happy guy with a lot of positive energy, and he told me about committing suicide.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like shocked because someone from Colombia coming to these ideas. When I go out there in Germany, I'm very careful about this because when I wake up, I have kind of positive energy, and when I come back, usually it's very low.
Mm-hmm.
And here in Peru, I can be, let's say, it's not happening, but let's say depressed in the morning. I go out and I hear someone scream like, "Hey, motherfucker!" And it's like, "Oh, cool!" And I don't know why, but it's something good. And
We'll
that's-
edit that out, Jerry, the motherfucker. We'll edit that out.
We'll put that.
We're talking angels and we say motherfucker. What the fuck? Now, back to, and in conclusion, angels and extraterrestrials. Any comment about angels or extraterrestrials or anything in that area?
Yeah, and it's very different what I perceive and see here in Peru and what I see in Germany.
Yeah. Yes.
There are other, I would say, other kind of orders, and there's more police. I'm talking not about police here,
Right.
but there's more police going on there. And there's one thing that happened to me like maybe 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think in Germany you have more this kind of visions like you have in Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
And I was seeing some things I never did see before, and it was like 4 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked out from my window. Jared knows my place there, and it's a street where there's nothing going on during the day,
Mm-hmm.
and during night it's totally it's very calm. There's nothing going on, no car, no people. And at 4 a.m. During the time I was having this kind of visions,
Mm-hmm.
I looked out of my window and there was a man in black with black
Sunglasses?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and he was staring directly into my room.
4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
In the dark.
Yeah, and I was like,
In the winter.
and it was winter. Yeah, yeah, and I was like, oh shit, they saw me. And since that, I'm not talking about this stuff in my room anymore when I'm in Berlin because I know, it's.
Who's they? When you say they saw me.
The guys were like getting the power out of the human race.
The bad guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you like the Men in Black kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like those. Yeah, like the agents in Matrix and etc. Yeah.
Right.
Mm. And I wasn't scared, but it was like, shit, I should have been more quiet. And since then, I was like, when I was talking about this, I didn't do it at my room. And in case I was doing something in my room, I was putting some kind of shields. So yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. And
Bro,
that was experience, yeah.
Everything is monitored.
Mm-hmm.
Every
Yeah.
single thing
Mhm.
is monitored.
Yeah.
Everything is monitored. And today with remote viewing,
Mm-hmm.
also the FBI, CIA do use psychics.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to find out something, it's not going to be hidden.
Yeah.
So a general rule is don't do anything wrong, boys and girls. Seriously. Don't do anything wrong.
And there was something not similar, but it's connected to this. It was in Peru,
Mhm.
very close to the Nazca lines.
Mm-hmm.
I was there with a guitar and a friend of mine. We were singing, but just singing what was coming out, like
Mhm.
phonetics, no words.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a star, we thought it was Venus.
Mm-hmm.
And it was there for a couple of hours.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly it started to move.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to us,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was like right above us, like
Mhm.
maybe, I don't know, maybe 8 kilometers away.
Mhm. You can't really tell,
Yeah,
but you can tell because it gets bigger and you can see it moving.
yeah, exactly.
Because you
exactly.
don't really know.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, nice, now I can like have a proof.
Mhm.
And I took my phone and tried to picture it, and it wasn't working.
Mm-hmm.
then I try to okay, maybe the camera is not working. I try video and it's not working. Then I ask my friend, and it happened like the same. I had a good feeling. It was the first time I saw this UFOs a couple of times. Very different every time. It's not like the same kind of spaceship, but this time it was the first time I felt something while I was seeing it, and it was a positive vibration. But now it's like maybe 5-6 years ago. Now I think maybe they just send it some kind of positive vibration, and I don't know. Since this with the police in Berlin happened, I'm very skeptical about what I'm feeling, because I'm suspicious about they controlling, or can I say this?
You said it very well.
Okay.
Because sometimes you can't trust. What are these feelings? Are they creating these feelings?
Yeah, exactly, and
it's your gut talking. You got to pay attention to your gut.
Exactly. So I think maybe they, because since that I got a little bit like my spiritual path went into another direction, and I can imagine that they changed something just to put something I like, some kind of thing to distract, and this was, I started to think about this since this happened in Berlin.
Yeah. I don't think you really have to worry though.
Okay.
The United States spends more money than the next 10 biggest nations on military materials. And right now the United States has just inaugurated a space force. Space force.
Yeah.
So the commodity of consciousness is something that is like clay that extraterrestrials and interdimensionals can do whatever they want with. But meanwhile, the people here on Earth are like, we don't know. We don't know. So the general rule for extraterrestrials is, and it's a cardinal rule, is don't frighten the natives, because they go crazy. So individuals such as yourself are seeing these things because you're supposed to see them.
Okay.
If you're not supposed to see them, you are not going to see them. And then you're a conduit, like a little crop circle in the music world, to share subtly in a loving fashion with people who are just listening to these nice tunes. Like when you look at a crop circle, you go, I've never really seen anything like that, but it's kind of nice. I like it. So it's similar with Asteroid Pony, the sounds that you're bringing to these people. So for yourself, you might feel that you're entertaining, but actually you're doing far more, because you're bringing enlightenment to the cells of your listeners who are open for it. Now there's other people, and it's going to go right over their heads. But for other people, it'll slowly sink into what their willpower is, their ability to focus, and their unconditional love, and the words that you said, and how they made their eardrums feel, and how it made them feel inside. It changes people, which is something I applaud. I applaud that very much. Okay, so we talked about angels, we talked about music, and we talked a little bit about Europe and Peru. Anything else? I channeled his angel, boys and girls. Yes, I'm a spiritual channel. And I recorded it this morning from his signature, and did you hear it?
Yeah, 2 times.
Go ahead, tell me how bad it was, or how good it was. Or put it into perspective.
I was very surprised, because it was just a signature. It's the first time that someone is telling me so much about what I'm going through right now, just with a signature. And I had some topics going on over the last years, linked and related to the things you said on this audio, and it has helped me to understand some things going on that I wasn't sure about it. Yes, it was a big surprise because I didn't expect.
It's not believable. I wouldn't believe it. If
Yeah.
somebody told me like it's impossible.
Yeah, yeah,
But-
exactly. Yeah, once you hear it, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh, how does he know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I have a rapport with my guardian angel Daisy, and the way it works is his guardian angel knows him. So when he sends his signature over, I feel the paper, and this is the feelings that came out of him out through his hand, and I pick it up and I'm like, ooh, I can feel it, right? I can feel it.
Uh-huh.
And then we're paying attention here, sorry. And then, so I feel it, and then I try to put it into words.
Mhm.
So, people are pretty similar,
Mhm.
and the earth is a school,
Mhm.
and the more loving you are, the more difficult life is.
Mhm.
So, when I saw your signature, I went, oh my God, where is this guy from? How loving is he? God, he must have been through hell. Oh, jeez, where do I start? Oh, God, what do I do with this guy? You know, because you're out of my league.
Okay.
It's like, you know, me going and telling the dentist what to do. I don't know what the hell to do. So, giving you suggestions, I'm clueless. I'm looking at, well, this guy's very sophisticated, very, very spiritual. So Daisy brings in the information that she receives from your guardian angel so that I can get some feelings and I can kind of put some words out there that will help you find solutions to the lessons that you're facing now.
Yeah, you said something about there's no time left for myself anymore, which I wasn't sure, like, to 100% about how to interpret it. I think it means just to act now, like not like there's not much more to explore. There is much more, but it's not a good timing to do that. Like right now, that was my interpretation.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was like the meaning behind. That would be nice to know in case you know about
Yeah.
it.
What I'm doing is I'm speaking in what's called the Pesher, P-E-S-H-E-R. So I'm using general words that the person will interpret correctly to help them.
Okay.
Because I'm clueless,
Mhm.
you know. I'll say something like, oh geez, I'm talking about an ant farm. I don't know why I'm talking about an ant farm. And the person would go, yeah, that's a perfect example of the ant farm. That's exactly how it feels. I'm like, okay, cool. Because I don't know. I mean, I don't know you. I've never met you. Never seen. Well, I didn't know who you were, but as soon as I saw you, I recognized you from the heavy-duty music he puts out with your lead. He's your lead guitarist.
Yeah.
Don't lie. Is he really?
Yeah, he really is.
Seriously? Wow, J-Rap. Okay, so anything else you would like to add? Do you meditate?
Yes.
How do you meditate?
In different ways. I was meditating for about 11 years. I started with it started with a word in Hebrew, ruach. That means that's the word they use for spirit in the
Okay.
Bible.
Ua.
Ruach, R-U-A-C-H.
Okay. Oh, I've seen that word. That's how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was trying to know more about that word. I found like 20 different meanings when I went to bibliothèque. And one meaning I liked a lot was what is hidden behind the ear. And it was like, oh, okay. At that time, I wasn't meditating with exercises like breathing exercises. I
Mhm.
didn't know that much about it.
Mm-hmm.
But 1 year after, I started to do some breathing exercises, and then I was conscious about how important this kind of food, like air, is.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, oh, okay, that's like air, the information coming from air, like the food coming from there, and I like this kind of link, so that was one of the reasons I started to do more breathing exercises. I started with Hatha Yoga. That was one, after doing Hatha, I was meditating and I was very, able to be very clear. And then I did Kriya Yoga, which compared to Hatha Yoga, I did it like 1 month and I wasn't feeling that much. I was like, oh, maybe this isn't working. But after a month, I saw myself and it was like, wow, like this guy, like myself, is another person. Like I didn't. It was so subtle that I wasn't able to see the changes. And since that, I was practicing like this period was about 11 years, and I went, for example, to mountains in Peru, to ruins. I was at that time I was very able to feel the energy coming from there, and it was like I can't remember even with ayahuasca or other stuff like something that connected, and the understanding about what was happening was very strong. Plus how earth and sky were like connecting, like the energy coming from earth and from the sky. It was surprising, and what I was doing was going there without eating, like to a mountain or a ruin, like walking like 4 or 5 hours, waking up in the morning. And then I just sat there, did some like Kriya Yoga exercises, and then I was meditating for 2 or 3 hours, and then I went back to town, and I was doing this for plenty of months in different places in Peru. One of my favorite places is Huaraz, where you have the Chavin culture, like all the spiritual information is that went to the Incas, Maya, Aztecas comes from Chavin. And the other experience that I liked a lot was on the Sun Island in Titicaca, on the Bolivian part. And that energy was very strong, and I was dizzy after that. I went with 2 birds from Germany. We went there with boat. When we arrived, everyone went apart and had his meditation moment. And when we came back,
what happened?
we all
We're different.
we were all crying.
Yeah.
But it was never something that this never happened. And everyone had a very strong connection to something related to their families, and in a healing way. And those girls, they weren't like, it was not like they are doing yoga, or it was just the energy of the Sun Island. So I'm in Peru right now because it was November or October last year. I woke up like about 5 a.m. connected to Tiwanaku, the Tiwanaku ruins, and I knew, okay, I have to go to Peru. I wasn't supposed to be here now.
You're in touch with your inner self.
And maybe 3 months ago, there was a blockade because my brother and I, we were working for maybe decades doing music together, but we had a moment where we split. It was a very hard time. We didn't talk to each other for more than a year, living in Berlin. And it started to heal, but it was not completely healed. And when I came here to Peru, I was able to see what was blocking this. And I called my bro and told him, hey, you have to come to Peru at least one week. It doesn't matter. It's like it's a good moment right now to push this and
to fix it.
And it helped. It helped, and that was one of the things where I thought, okay, this is enough for coming to Peru. But I didn't go to the Tiwanaku ruins yet, so I don't know what's expecting me there. I don't know if it's fear, but I know a lot of things might change. So it's maybe because I don't want to change some things right now, but I'm very excited to know what's gonna happen when I'm visiting those ruins that were like the first signal to come to Peru.
Well, obviously not only are you empathic,
Mm.
you are also experience empathy. Empathy. I can't spell it. But what it means is you actually feel
Uh-huh.
what other people feel.
Yeah.
You actually feel it.
Yeah.
And you use the word energy and feelings and thinking. There's an English scientist named Rupert Sheldrake who studies these, quote, feelings, and he calls it morphic resonance.
Mhm.
Morphic resonance. So, water has memory.
Yeah.
How many thousands of years have people been at Lake Titicaca doing spiritual things?
Mm-hmm.
So when you, who are empathic and have empathy with your two German female friends, show up, separate, and then you come back and you're all weeping,
Mm.
not because you stuck your foot with a nail, but because there's something inside of you
Yeah.
that is resonating.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the exact same thing which you use when you produce your music.
Mm.
So that's why your music is so beautiful.
Mm.
And with that, we're going to listen to Blue Angel
Yeah.
by Rainier,
Mm-hmm.
and the group is Pony Asteroid.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm. If
Yes.
is it okay if I talk something about the song?
Please, yeah, please, come on.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about the song
Uh,
Blue Angel by Pony Asteroid?
It was a moment when I arrived at home at my parents' place in Lima. It was last year, after almost 5 years without visiting Peru. And I arrived at one room where there are a lot of pictures about the family when we were children,
Mm-hmm.
and it touched me in a very strong way at that moment. It was maybe, yeah, it was 5, 6 in the morning. And at that moment I was very conscious about the female energy,
Mm-hmm.
like starting from my mother, my sister, my ex-girlfriends, my friends, female friends,
Mm-hmm.
and I was very happy and grateful for them to have treated me in a very loving way during my life, and all this.
It all culminated at once.
Yeah.
All this loving female energy.
Exactly. They were like, they started to unify, and then they appeared in an angel. It's not like the skin of the angel wasn't blue. She was with a blue kind of robe.
Ooh, cool.
This angel was like the like I think like the core of this whole female energies combined,
Mm-hmm.
and
The divine feminine.
yeah, and she just put the words on the on the lyrics, and that's what the song is about. It's like a kind of gratitude to the female energy.
Wow.
Mm.
Well, you're on the right show, boss. Wow. Good job. Share it, man. Bring this guy in here. That's great. Okay, so we have Blue Angel by Pony Asteroid. And are you going to play by yourself, or do you need Gomer to help? He's going to stay out of it. But first, I want to say thank you for this interview.
Oh, thank you.
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful,
Thank you,
wonderful,
sir.
wonderful. And thank you for coming by. I'll get out of the way.
Yeah. Yo voy a cambiar todo.
Okay.
¿Quieres?
O sea, del baño, sí.
Ah. That's asking for.